Hello, welcome. Good evening. We are back again for this Wednesday webinar, and we are very happy to let you know that Pune River Revival just had a silent march on Sunday, a very successful silent march for the people who suffered in the recent floods. And for the root cause of that, which is rights of rivers. So basically, it was for making sure that we take care of rivers and then rivers take care of us in turn. So save rivers and save lives was the theme of our silent march. And in the rain, hundreds of people walked on Pune street. And even though the march was a silent march, the message was loud and clear that we care for our rivers and we care for the environment. So I'm very happy that we got support from everybody, and very thankful for your support from a lot of our organizations who supported us, common citizens as well as media. So having said that, I will start with today's webinar. Today, our guest is Dr. Soma Mishra. She's an environmentalist, and she's active in research, writing, and teaching for last 12 years. She has done her PhD from IIT Roorkee in environmental engineering, and currently she teaches in MIT World Peace University in Pune. Before this, she has worked for Carbon Neutrality Cell at the Municipal Commissioner's Office, and she has also worked as a climate scientist with Sustain Labs Paris in Dubai. So I'm not going to take much of your time, and I'll hand it over to Professor Mishra for today's talk, which is a very, very interesting subject and a very, very important subject. So over to you, Professor. You're mute, actually.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prajakta, for the introduction. And once again, a good evening to all of you. So I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know if it's visible to all of you. So I'm putting my video off so that I can
this is visible.
Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
This is visible. You can even do full screen.
Yes. So today's topic is the rise of emerging contaminants and understanding the new threats, actually. So the main point is why we are discussing this today. Wait, if it's not moving. So it's not moving in full screen. Okay, so let me do it manually.
Sure.
Yeah. So actually, we should think of it that in day-to-day life, we are coming across few chemicals, either in a way of it's like personal care products or maybe the pesticides or insecticides or heavy metals coming through many household items we are using. So are we really exposed unknowingly to these emerging contaminants? That's focus for today's talk. So what said, just in a summary, I wanted to tell you that we will be discussing today about what are the emerging contaminants and how they are categorized. I mean, how emerging contaminants have classified into the categories, and what are the pathways of these emerging contaminants into the water resources. Then impacts of environmental contaminants or emerging contaminants on human health, impact on the water bodies, and obviously the aquatic animals. Recent approaches for the removal of emerging contaminants. I am putting EC as emerging contaminants, a short form of emerging contaminants. So you may get these terms often in next slides. So recent approaches for the removal of ECs from the wastewater and sustainable ways to avoid contaminants released into the environment. So let us first understand what are the ECs and why should we concern about it. So let me tell you first that any synthetic chemical that is being used in our day-to-day life, but is not commonly monitored or regulated in the environmental compartments, is known as an emerging contaminant. So if you can see the picture, it is a common picture of maybe the DMart, the Smart Bazaar, or wherever you want. I mean, you used to go for your daily shoppings. So these all are somehow chemicals in a way, and after they use, they are going back to the environment, either in a form of solid waste or maybe discarded through the sewage treatment plant, or maybe as a personal care product. Why ECs are of concern actually? Because this is a very new term for, I mean, you can say it's in India, but in foreign countries now it's been regulated for many of the environmental, I mean, these emerging contaminants. And for these emerging contaminants, right now, emission and fate is unknown into the environment. And water and wastewater treatment plants we have are not able to remove them effectively. Potential threat to human health and the environment is also not known for these contaminants. Obviously, the lack of public standards and the controls with their effect on the human health are not fully understood. If you talk about these contaminants, these emerging contaminants, we are getting it through many, sources. Like I have classified, or it's been classified by many scientists, like the major emerging contaminants are from the categories of pharmaceuticals, personal care products that we are use in our day-to-day life for like shampoos, like cosmetics, and many other things for our personal care. Pesticides and herbicides coming for agriculture. It is actually a part of agriculture side. Halogenated and non-halogenated compounds. These are mainly coming from fire hydrants and many other toxic chemicals used in the industries. Synthetic fragrances, we are using it in day-to-day life. Phthalates, it's basically coming from the plastics. Bisphenol A, it's also a part of chemical industry, and this is also coming in many ways to us from personal care product. And phytoestrogens, nanomaterials, and microplastics. So that how do these contaminants reach to the natural environment? You might have questioned in your mind. So let us see this picture. I think it's a case. This picture is specifically from the New Delhi Yamuna River, and it has been taken at November 2023. But this is not the only year. I think from last 7-8 years, this is a picture just before Chhat Puja and just after the Diwali. You can see. It doesn't mean that only these incidents happen over this time frame every year. This is a continuous case in Yamuna River, but it only highlights while there is a Chhat Puja. Let me tell you what is Chhat Puja. Chhat Puja is a festival specifically from UP and Bihar people. They are dominantly doing this puja. And they used to go to the ghat, or you can say to the river, and they worship sun. There is a lot of history. So while reporting, the newspapers and the new TV channels are widely showing these pictures that government is not doing anything. This case again happened in Hyderabad and Bangalore as well. So this is not new to us now. We can see these in many news channels. You can see these pictures as well from the Delhi pollution part. So this one is from 2021. So this is a regular case. There are many news articles coming that these are the challenges, that water contamination still in the serious national challenge, question mark on water quality as contamination threat looms over Bangalore. So there are many cases coming into the picture. So we also have a case like bioindicators show high pollution level in Mula Mutha River. Influence of multi-drug resistant bacteria in river Ganga in the stretch of Rishikesh to Haridwar. So why these news and how we are coming across these chemicals? So you can see this report that Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation uncovers acidic industrial waste being discharged into the residential drains. So these are actually the issues which are been overlooked over the years, and now the resultant we all know. How do these contaminants reach into the natural environment? So the major 10 or 12 the cases are like from agriculture runoff. So pesticides is directly coming to our river, residential runoff and effluent. So you might have a question that residential runoff and effluent is going to the sewage treatment plant, but our sewage treatment plant are actually not efficient or not equipped with the advanced technologies to remove these emerging contaminants on site. And then sometime now you can see the rain pattern. So over the years, rain pattern has been changed. Much of during these rainy season, or maybe I can tell you another story as well, but let us consider the rainy season. So maybe 50-60% of the effluent coming out without treatment into the river system. You can ask the question, that's why is this? So there are two major reasons. First, these sewage treatment plants and water treatment plants, when designed, they projected the population of 10 to 20 years, suppose. So suppose we are taking the case of Pune. So they might have, installed it 20 years back, and they didn't projected that this much of migration will happen due to the IT industries. So suppose you have made a plant for 5 MLD or 10 MLD of wastewater treatment, and now you are receiving daily on a daily basis the double amount. So obviously the 50% of the sewage will directly go into the river without any treatment. So we have to think in that aspect. In third point, you can see the farm and livestock runoff, hospital waste runoff. So that's a actually, it's a very big issue that the hospitals are dominant with the microbial loads, hospital wastes, and they are dumping this without any treatment to our river system. Industrial effluent, we all know that it's coming directly to the river system without any treatment. Some of the big industries took challenge to set up a plant, but efficiency of working, it's a question mark again. Energy generation runoff, obviously it is from the power plant. Urban runoff and effluent. So this is basically storm water runoff when there is a heavy rainfall. So the streets are washed away, the agricultural lands were washed away. Obviously, effluents get overflowed. And wastewater treatment plant disposal, the solid waste, in fact, the sludge from the wastewater treatment plants, it's again a challenge. Untreated wastewater disposal, septic tank affects the underground water table. Solid waste dumping sites exposure through leachate, direct dumping of waste into the water bodies. So these are the major reasons to these contaminants reaching to our natural environment. So this is the pictorial, the same thing that I have told you earlier. There's the same thing that how this is reaching to our water body. And suppose what from the water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, from the landfill leachate, from the chemical spill and the pollutants, nitrates, ammonia, and arsenic from runoff from the agriculture side, gasoline leakage, animal waste, drugs that has been flushed into our water system or the toilets, and sewage and waste runoff, it is directly coming to our glass of water without treatment, because water treatment plants are not equipped to treat these chemicals, because they are rising threats. And 10 years back, 20 years back, No one was aware about these chemicals that these can be supplied to our water system. So it's again same thing, how groundwater is getting contaminated, and how these things coming into our aquifer system. Now, how the exposure to human health and the aquatic life. Again, the sources of ECs, like emerging contaminants, are majorly from industry, pharmaceutical, agriculture, and the personal care items. These are coming to the coming to our river water on the groundwater, coming directly and indirectly with food to our body. So through this picture, you can see that the common exposure to emerging contaminant of concern is from the diet exposure, like from the fishes we are taking from the rivers, where water is actually contaminated with lots of heavy metals, with lots of pharmaceuticals, hormones, flame retardants, plasticizers, personal care products. So the fishes we are eating, we actually don't know from where it is coming. Even you are taking it from maybe from Bangalore, from Mumbai, or maybe somewhere, because suppose you are buying it in the Pune, you never know is it coming from Mumbai or somewhere. I mean, we never know that from where it's coming. The milk is again a source, because the diet of our animals are not that good. Grains that has been grown in uh, the sludges from the wastewater treatment plant, which actually contains a lots of heavy metal and plasticizers and particulate matter, it's coming into our grains. The packaged food, because they have too much of preservatives. This is the diet one. Second part, if you see the air exposure, obviously combustion emission and particulate matters are affecting us. In from the water exposure, the surface water and direct drinking water, it is coming through that. And from the soil exposure, you can say the farming and indirect pollution in the crops. Suppose the sludge from the wastewater treatment plant is used for the growth of cabbage or the cauliflower. So nowadays you can see a pattern of I mean big large this cabbage and cauliflowers than few years back. So these are actually source of contaminants. What are the human health impacts? Majorly, I will be talking about four domain. The first is the pharmaceutical, second is the personal care product, third is the pesticide, and fourth is the brominated flame retardants. So these are, I mean, researchers have proved that these can cause even cancer, fertility problems, endocrine disruptor, effect on the thyroid gland, miscarriages and pregnancy problems, hormonal changes into the body. It affects our liver and kidney as well. Obviously, these all are carcinogenic in nature, and it has an ulcer and bleeding in the stomach. It has been reported. Again, it damages our DNA. It does the hormonal changes, and lastly, I would say it damages the neuron development in the body. And effect of chemicals on the aquatic life. So there are many pictures which actually shows that how it is affecting. So these are the fishes that has been, maybe it is coming to our plate, we never know. This is a polluted river stream, and the fishes are dying due to the pollution load. Impact on the aquatic life has direct impact on the human health. How we can reduce, the contamination directly from the fishes and all, that we can look into. So I would like to discuss about the microplastic part as well, because it is a rising concern these days. So I have clubbed actually two things: the emerging contaminants along with the microplastics. So it's again an alarming situation for us. So as a report, it's noted that people eat at least 50,000 plastic particles a year. So this has been published by Nature journal as an opinion article. So the threat of microplastic is, see, we are using in day-to-day life lots of plastics, maybe a single-use plastic, or maybe the PET bottles, or the nets we are using. So many things. I mean, see, everything nowadays is a plastic, and it is very convenient to use plastic. And replacement of plastic is really difficult because of the economic issues. So if we can work on, the management of the waste, it will be really helpful to manage this microplastic part and remove this microplastic part from our food system. So how these microplastics are coming into the circle or the ecology, or the water system, is once, suppose we are using the PET bottle or the water bottle, we throw it out. Somehow it's going into the water body. It's getting over the time, over the years, it gets it degraded into tiny particles. The fishes were consuming it, and those fishes is coming into our plate again. So not only the fishes are the part of these microplastics. Now microplastics are in our salt, in our honey, everywhere it is. So the current researchers have proved that microplastics and plastics associated contaminants in food and beverages, the concentrations in the human exposure. So there are many research actually going on in last 8-10 years in this domain. So the human health concern regarding microplastic in aquatic environment from marine to food system. Uh, so this is how we have already talked that how these microplastics reaching to the aquatic system indirectly to us. So plastic bottles is the one part. The cloths fibers. The small plastic pellets that has been used in the industries and personal hygiene products, they use micro beads. So directly or indirectly, it is coming to our wastewater system and again coming to the aquatic system. So this is the life cycle of microplastic that we have discussed in last slides. Uh, Now I will move to tell you about the trend. So like in 2008, the number of microplastics per cubic meter was 41.28, which are expected to rise by 520.1. That is the consumption, this is the abundance, and obviously it is directly or indirectly coming to us through seafoods. So now, there are few approaches to tackling these emerging contaminants. As of now, the research is showing that these 5 technologies are dominantly, acceptable for removing these emerging contaminants. The first one is the advanced oxidation process. So electrochemical methods, membrane bioreactors, adsorption, and a nanotechnology. So these can help us to remove these emerging contaminants itself in the water treatment plant, also in the wastewater treatment plant. So in Europe, this advanced oxidation process and membrane bioreactors have been implemented in last decades for this emerging contaminants removal. And to minimize the impact of ECs, a proactive approach involving the monitoring regulations and public education is vital, because we are actually not knowing that what's going on, and what exposures are there with these microplastics and environmental contaminants. So monitoring and research, and putting this monitoring part into the regulations, and then education is very important for this domain. So as to make the policies, we need more and more research about it. So if you can ask yourself, how are we responsible, and what are the possible approaches to reduce the impact of overall these emerging contaminants? So we can reduce our, it's about, I always used to tell, is about attitude. that as much as it is available in the market, it doesn't mean that we should buy everything. We can limit our requirements. If it's not needed in packaged things, then avoid it. Like nowadays, if you can see, bananas are even, it's packed in the plastic. The pumpkin is coming in packed plastic, and the garlic is coming into packed plastic. So are we really need those things? So can we decide that if there is no market, if there is no demand, obviously supply will stop. So we can, remove these from our day-to-day life practice, so we can, alter the situation somehow. If we can segregate the waste, so it can, reduce at least 35 to 40% of the burden to our water system. If we can see in home, we have many expired, medicines and syrups were there. We usually used to throw it out into our, toilets, which is not actually good. If we can properly manage those things, it can reduce the impact. And obviously, if we can remove the single-use plastic part from our day-to-day life. So I will, show you few of the slides that has been very real, and it is from my few months back's experience. So I was attending a conference in Gujarat. So on the left-hand side, if you can see the challenges part, these plastic bottles. In the same conference, there is a pot there. It's made up of mitti. See how beautiful it looks, and how we can reduce this plastic part if we can use these kind of pots regularly. The second thing we can, as I told you, the challenges is overconsumption, because availability is more nowadays. So again, I will say we have to change the attitude towards it. That if we can refill the things, suppose you buy a hand wash, and if you can refill that hand wash bottle with that refill packs, or suppose oil. So oil pouches are only 2 rupees less in charge from the plastic bottles. But our tendency is कौन fill करता है, let's buy the plastic one, that will be fine, use करेंगे फेंक देंगे, कौन झंझट लेता है. तो if we can change our attitude towards our perspective looking at these things, we can really put in very good impact. So it's a very very good, actually, from my point of view, it's very engaging. That's the challenge is, so we were staying in a hotel room, two of us, one and me and my friend. So there was a conference and we ordered a food. It was, I mean, just we can go down, we can have our dinner and come back. We could have saved this much of foils. So we have wasted this much of foils just to save our 5-10 minutes of walking. So again, the change of behavior pattern and the attitude. So this is how we can avoid the release of these contaminants from the households, offices, and the organizations. So obviously, there are many positive news coming into the newspapers that PCMC is taking fine to big housing societies for non-functional sewage treatment plants, cut drainage and water connections. So this should be done in a regular basis. And I think these can only serve the purpose of getting our rivers and the water system back into a good situation. So these are the last slide. I would tell that if you can see the right side of the picture, so one man has ordered a glass of ice water. So the waitress is saying that you need a prescription for that, and the newspaper shows the drugs in the tap water. So uh, I hope we should not reach to this situation. So thank you so much. And that's the last slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Prajakta, if I may just make a quick appeal for a minute.
Sure, sure.
So that was really illuminating and also disturbing in the sense that, many of us on this call, I recognize many of the names. We've already made changes because people like Shailajatai, who's also on the call, they've sensitized us to, what our lifestyle does, what, all our hygiene products do. But this brings out completely new dimensions. So thanks for that. Yeah. The second part I want to emphasize is, please, to the audience, is please understand, people like Dr. Mishra are giving their personal time. People like Dr. Mishra, Shailajatai for years have been, making us aware what we are doing to our water, to the groundwater, to the surface water, and how we can change this. And all of these volunteers, their time is just invaluable. So there are two things that I want to urge as a volunteer. That there are two things we can do. One is make the personal lifestyle change that Dr. Mishra is talking about. But the second thing I want to urge is, everything, today are, unfortunately, the authorities and the governmental bodies have become comatose. They are not working on these. So whatever is happening, just on Sunday, on 25th, we had a silent march. And everything about that volunteer march was funded by the volunteers. Volunteers put in money for water testing, volunteers do recce, everything costs, and everything is getting paid by the volunteers. So I want to, as another volunteer, I want to make an appeal that we should all contribute on a monthly basis. Let's be gems. When I say gem, I mean GEM. Give every month. Just give little. What it does is, it does two things. It motivates others who are contributing their time. Their time is invaluable. Yeah, to get speakers like Dr. Mishra, Shaila Jatai, and so many others who have talked before them, they're giving their time. Least we can do is contribute at least 500, 200 rupees every month, and have that solidarity shown month over month. And towards that, you'll see in the chat box, Amit has shared the donation details. And if it's too much information to grab, the simpler thing you can do is, we have a WhatsApp group called Pune River Revival Group, where all these like-minded people join together, discuss these issues, and you can get more questions answered. I'm sure we'll leave some time for Dr. Mishra to answer questions. But having said that, the best way to connect about these issues for long term is to join the WhatsApp group, and Amit will be sharing that shortly. So again, I want to leave this longish appeal is, please stay connected with Pune River Revival Group, and please donate generously as much as you can, but do it consistently. Just as your life-changing habits will have to be consistent, if you can make your giving consistently. And the last thing I want to say about giving is, when someone makes an appeal from heart, it's sound resonates well. But the problem is, once the call is done, we've forgotten it, we move on, we have a busy work life. Let's not do that. Please jot it down in your diary. Try to get it done by tonight. If not tonight, just make by the end of the week you give it. Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for letting me make this appeal. There's a bunch of questions online. So Prajakta, are you going to go through them?
Actually, Purnima is going to take it.
Okay, thank you. Purnima, on to you.
Okay, yeah. Hi. I'll just camera. Okay. Hi, thank you, Dr. Mishra. I think this was a very, as Jaideep said, very illuminating webinar, and a lot of information actually to process and to understand. But more or less, everybody is aware of these, like on a very shallow basis. But people are aware of the ill effects that we are facing because of the contaminants in our water bodies. So I think we have a few questions. So we have a very relevant question. Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, audible.
So very relevant question from Shailaja Tai, which is very obvious in during the monsoons that we see. So she is saying that the stormwater drains that we have. So in monsoons, they tend to carry heavy loads of contaminants in rivers. And we have observed that people take advantage of releasing some pollutants because then it goes unnoticed. So is there any control on stormwater drains? Plus all housing colonies who do not require treated water in monsoons, that also gets released in rivers. sir, but we have not come across any stormwater like treatments or any laws which talk about them. So could you please let us know like what is it like? How does it work, the stormwater drain management?
Yeah, actually, that's a very relevant question. And people do take advantage of the situation. That's very common. So, for the stormwater drainage system, the first thing is in India specifically, we don't have channelized, the way to divert these into the wastewater treatment plants. First and foremost thing that we don't have any connections as of now,
Okay.
as much as I know, the best of my knowledge. There is no stormwater drain connected to wastewater treatment plant. So whenever there is a rain,
Mm.
it will directly coming into our water bodies. So that we cannot avoid for now, but it can be avoided if it is channelized. Now, see, if you are only seeing the Pune's case, so over
Mhm.
15 years, I think the migration is more due to the industries. As I told you earlier during the presentation as well, that if the migration is high in a short span of time, how these wastewater treatment plants will take care of the all the load from the cities or maybe from
Mm.
somewhere. So you have to work specifically on, see, we are growing on the infrastructure part. So why not to grow on the wastewater treatment part side? So we have to take
Mhm.
care of that. I mean, nowhere it has been discussed that if we are taking care of the population that is coming to the city, why we are not taking care of the wastewater treatment, wastewater that has been generated. So that's a
Yeah.
big challenge, and that only policymakers can work on. So
Mhm.
as of now, if it's in policy, then only it will be working. Otherwise, the situation will be the same over the years, over and over. And that's a, उसको कहते हैं ना, that's a bitter truth.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, and even like because of climate change, like the stormwater drains are not capable of handling that much the amount of water that we are getting because of
That's true.
flash floods, cloud
That's true.
bursts. Uh, that's one which needs to be tackled, and the other thing is also waste management. Many a times these stormwater drains get clogged because of
Clogged.
bad waste management. So,
Exactly.
so all these issues, I think it's high time we should have some law or some kind of a
Yep.
policy to manage stormwater treatments.
That's true. The waste management part is obviously there. Second thing is, if you see the rain pattern, the last year Pune
Mhm.
don't have this pattern of rain. So
Mhm.
suppose in a year, if it's not maintained, then it will be choked. So suddenly you will be getting rain and now it is overflowing. So
Right.
situation, we don't have a similar pattern of rain over the years.
Mm-hmm.
That's again a challenge. For the authority
Yes,
also, it is a challenge.
right. So yes. So I will take the next question. What can
Yes.
be done to the hospital waste in case of waste bloods from hospital labs, as most of it is flushed in the drain after using a barely few millimeters, which is tested for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
So,
see, the treatment for a specific pollutant is important because these bloods carry a high BOD load into the wastewater treatment plants. And
mhm,
if it is not being treated on site, obviously it will take much of your cost while you are treating with the wastewater. If it is mixing with what the sewage part, then obviously the cost will increase. So after some
mhm,
time, it will directly getting again into the water system or the wastewater drainage. So most of the labs, they don't actually know what to do with these bloods. They only
mhm,
know that after the uses, we just have to drain it out. So we can plan a wastewater specific to the hospital. Like I had a talk with Selja Tai earlier as well. about about a hospital, that we can treat the hospital waste. We can make a small prototype where only these blood waste can be treated and directed to maybe to any stream or maybe wastewater treatment plants. That's the only solution.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Let's see the next question. So I think is there any government? Sorry, no. Jigar has asked, will you be talking about new technologies in water treatment? So,
Yeah, as one of the slide I have shown you, the
yeah.
membrane is the highly recommended technology. If I can show you that slide, there are 5 treatment technologies basically. The
Mm-hmm.
advanced oxidation one and the membrane bioreactors, they really
Mm-hmm.
work with these emerging contaminants. Some
Mm-hmm.
of the European companies have already tested for this. Lab experiments already prove that these technologies can really work well with the emerging contaminants.
But have they been used in India anywhere?
It's nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in
Oh,
India.
this is
As of now,
that's
no
really
research.
shocking.
Yes, I mean, none of the water or the wastewater treatment plant, because in wastewater treatment plant, I can understand that these technologies will increase your cost. But water treatment plant can opt for these technologies. But based of my
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, none of the water treatment plants have these technologies right on, because again, the matter comes into the economy, because
Mm.
it will increase your treatment cost. We can do we can use these membranes. I mean, obviously we are using in our home, that that disinfectant or UV light, and advanced oxidation is not there for the home filters. But membrane
Mm.
filters were not actually tested either. They are actually up to the mark to remove these emerging contaminants from our water. So actually, I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on that part. So most
Okay.
probably in next few months, you will be getting the report, first of its kind, that
Oh, wow.
how our water treatment system at home is working, the different
Mm-hmm.
membranes.
That's amazing. I think it will be good to share with the
Yes,
group,
sure, sure,
or if there is a
sure,
YouTube link or some way we can share it. We would love
sure,
to share it through our WhatsApp groups.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. It's in the process of the publication. So once published, I
Okay.
will be share it with you.
Great. So thank you. There is one more question. Is there any government regulation or future law plan to control the use of plastics in FMCG?
In FMCG sector, there are
I think
certain
it's there.
rules.
Mm.
There
Mm-hmm.
are certain rules to control. Suppose you to control this plastic pollution, the first and foremost thing you can see, you buy any product in plastic, it's been written this is recyclable, but where to recycle? No
Mm.
information there.
Right.
So
Mm.
recyclable
Also,
product is
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, also they mentioned that you can send these bags to the producer back,
Yes,
but
yes.
who is collecting? How are you
Who
going to
will
send
be?
it?
So in the
Exactly, that
milk
information
packets
is
as
missing.
well, that information
Mm,
is not there. Are you giving
mm,
any address that where we see? I have, I think, I don't know, maybe 250 or 300 that milk packets. I tagged it, but where to give,
mhm,
to whom to give? So
mhm, mhm.
we cannot go to a vendor and give. We have the specific thing on place. Then only it will be recycled.
So in Pune, I don't know now, but earlier these raddiwalas, like where you give your
Yes, yes.
newspaper, they used to
Yeah,
collect these milk bags. But
true
I'm
that.
not sure if they're doing now. But that was still something. I think it was a good initiative.
So
But we have no idea what they used to do further.
that's
So
the challenge. Actually, the
yeah.
process, the sequence of the segregation and waste management is, I mean, see, in Ahmedabad, I used to sell it for 5 rupees a kg. So it
Mm,
took months. That's fine. I'm getting 5 rupees. That's also fine. But it is going somewhere. I mean,
there. Mm,
it's good. But after that, what happens? We never inquired to whom they are giving
mm,
it. So, but in Pune, I have to search it, actually. So now it's lots of bag with me.
Okay. Then I think, yeah, major questions are done. People have really liked your session, and it's a much needed information.
That's
So,
great.
yeah. So, Dr. Suman Pandey is asking that do we have we conducted any basically river health and human health study, anything like that?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
is there data? So,
Yes,
and
yes.
will it be possible to share like a report or
Sure.
something?
Sure. I have published a paper in very good journal. She might be
Mhm.
knowing Science of the Total Environment. And if you
Okay.
see this water droplet, these are the
Mm-hmm.
compounds I have detected in Yamuna River. I saw you that picture in the first slide,
Okay.
right?
This one. Okay.
I saw you this picture, right? This was my
Mm-hmm.
working site in during PhD, and these are the pollutants.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
So ibuprofen, chlorfabric acid, guanine,
Mm-hmm.
estriol,
Mm-hmm.
triphenyl phosphinoxide. So these are the
Okay.
contaminants I have really found in the Yamuna River water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. I think the paper link can be shared if it is possible on the group, or if it is possible for you to share it now. To
I can share it with Prajakta maybe, or
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
she
yeah,
can
that will do.
or you can
Yes.
add me into this Pune River Revival group. So I will
Okay,
share
I
that.
Yes.
will do that. I'll add you to the
Yes.
to our WhatsApp group, so that would be in general a good addition for us.
Thank you.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Purnima, sorry, I have a question
Yes.
before we
Yes.
continue. I'm just
Yes.
wondering that, after looking at all these things, what is in the tap water, would people go more for bottled water? I'm even worried about it. Rather than saying I'll reduce plastic, they'll say, oh my God, is this in my tap water? Now, should I be buying bottled water? So how do we answer that?
So there are reports that in plastic bottled water, these contaminants were there. I can share some of the papers.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
so I
Yes,
think
please
it's
do
very
that.
important that we let everybody know that even if you use a bottled ready-made
Water,
plastic,
you are not
you are not,
Mm.
safe.
yeah,
You
you
are
are
you
not
are
safe,
getting
and
contaminated with microplastics then.
yeah, in fact, you are
Mm.
adding to the problem, and you are
True
not
that.
safe. So no matter what you do, unless you reduce the pollution, you are
Consumption.
not safe.
Right.
Money cannot buy you safe water, basically.
Right. That's true. Your attitude will buy you
True.
safe water. Unless you change your behavior pattern, your attitude, your consumption
Mm-hmm.
pattern, no one can help us. That's for sure. We have already done the lot.
Great, great. Um,
Yes. Can we take more questions? There are, I think, 3 questions,
I
Prajakta.
think those last two questions we can take, and then we'll have to stop.
Okay, okay. So, a question from Rajas Farke about effects on animals due to the contaminants. So, are there any disease observed or any studies, especially from animals
So,
perspective?
for few research articles I came across, it's about in the fishes, mainly
Mm-hmm.
in the fishes it has been observed. So I will be sharing, few of the research papers, very good research papers. It will really help people understand what it is actually. I will surely do it by tomorrow, okay? If not today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that will be great. So, so while traveling in villages, there's a question saying, can we drink clean water from the wells? Like, is it safe to drink water from the wells? And how should we treat water while traveling? Are there any medicated drops available to make it safe for drinking? Alright.
So I am not. I see. Medicated drops were there just for the bacteria. There are for travel kits were there, but if we are talking about these emerging contaminants, so you can see these only membranes and advanced oxidation process were proof for some of the contaminants. Actually, there are lack of studies. There we never know if it is heavy metal or the emerging contaminants or what it is. So we have to, that's why I'm saying that we need more and more research to establish, to establish, making it into the policy.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of policy related work.
Yeah, lot of, we need a lot of work actually.
So one last question is, are there any natural elements identified which can help absorb or filter this like contaminants?
So, for some of the plants were there, who for they are being used for the bioremediation of heavy metals actually. So, as I
Mm-hmm.
told you that for this emerging contaminant segment, it is difficult telling you. Again, the lack of publications, the lack of reports. I mean, reports are really not up to the mark. Some of the reports where it looks that it needs more refined work. So I'd say yes, for heavy metal, it has been established. The plants really work good for the uptake of these heavy metals. So we can study on those plants if they are able to take care of these emerging contaminants as well.
Okay. So even if you have some more information about it, I think from in the group you can share the links
Yeah,
and
I will.
more.
You can add me into the group, and I will regularly share about it. I will
I'll
love to
add
do it
you.
actually.
I'll definitely add
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Because it's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have a question. Can we get AIDS from drinking water, tap water?
Can we?
Get AIDS. So I have already replied saying no, but if you want, you can
We
add.
never know, we never know actually. I should give
Oh my
answer.
God.
Like,
Is it? Is it?
we never know, but yes, obviously, for now, no, I would say, because obviously it has a different contamination and all those things. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Soma. Over to you, Prajakta.
Thank you so much. It was so enlightening and scary at the same time, and I think at the same time it's very much impacting for everybody to make changes. I'm not going to take much of time, but our WhatsApp group link is in the group chat, so please use that to join our group. For Dr. Mishra, I will add you directly.
Yes, sure.
And for everybody else, you can follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So you can get these regular updates of our programs, our webinars, and everything else that we conduct. If you have missed any of our previous webinars, they are on our YouTube channel. Even this webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel so that you can, those who missed, your friends and family, they can also watch it. You can go to YouTube and search for Pune River Revival, and they can find our channel. So that's all about it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Soma. Thank you, all the participants. And do come back next Wednesday. That's all about it. We can conclude now. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Great
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.